Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on knee slice passing. We're going to go into a deep dive on the knee slice pass. The knee slice pass is a very fundamental pass in jiu-jitsu. It's kind of a bit of a pressure pass where the idea is to get to one side of your partner's body and kind of drive knee forward, putting pressure on the top half of their body with your upper body. The knee slice pass, once you can get into the position, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to finish the pass, but a lot of people might have problems with the person on bottom being able to recover their guard or not being able to finish the pass. There's a lot of different problems that we have in the knee slice pass that are easily fixable. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and teach just a generic knee slice pass, kind of how I teach it to beginners. It's not how I do it, but I will talk in another video here a little bit later how I like to set it up, some more advanced stuff. But this is kind of how I teach the knee slice pass for beginners here. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have Bryson just kind of get into this position because I want to talk about the knee slice pass kind of in the context of directionality, right? So when we talk about passing the guard, you ideally are trying to pass the guard either through, over, or around your partner's legs, right? So ideally, if you're using a speed pass, you can kind of get around your partner here. Through your partner's legs would be something like establishing this knee slice position here where you're getting on the inside of these grips. And then we have over kind of where you're in these situations here where you're kind of using a little bit more of a float pass to get around your partner, to get past your partner's legs, okay? So with this knee slice pass, essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish some inside control here before I'm able to hit that knee slice, okay? Now, you notice that the knee came in front. That's going to be a big problem that we'll troubleshoot later. For now, we're going to talk about establishing the basic position here, okay? So, essentially, when I start a knee slice or when I'm teaching beginners knee slice pass, I always show them to get one knee right between their partner's legs, okay? So you want to start attacking this inside position here. When I set my knee slices up, they're going to be from this direction here, where it almost looks like I'm going to be going here, all right? And I'll explain that later. But for beginners, the best thing to do is just kind of make a little connection on your partner's legs, walk his hips to one side here, and now in order to keep this knee from getting in front, simply put that hand right on the hip here, okay? This elbow is going to keep his leg from getting back on the inside position here. What he would like to do is swing this knee right in the front here, and then he gets the inside position, and I'm going to be in some trouble. Troubleshoot this later. But for right now, I just want to be on in this position here. I'll switch the angle in a minute, but this hand is kind of pressing down and cupping his bottom leg. This elbow is already on the inside of his hamstring, and then my shoulder is going to be coming in here towards his leg. Really flexible, guys. I get the feeling by how Bryson's trembling that he's not very flexible. So, but more flexible guys will might try to get their leg over your head, yeah, over the head. In Bryson's case, it's not going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. But it's good. It's a good practice just to keep the shoulder here. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to look for here is to be able to put pressure without driving, without getting weight off this leg, or rather keeping this from coming through in this direction. If he can get his knee up to his chest, he might be able to get here, switch to the other side, yep, and then start to operate the guard, then I'm going to be in some trouble. Okay. So I like to keep my hand kind of cupping here. You can press down or you can lift up. If you lift up, you kind of keep him from being able to use that leg almost like a hip escape, right? So use this however you need to, but I usually kind of lift against my shin. Now the next thing that I'm looking to do is I'm looking to get a nice underhook here. It's not always going to happen that way, but ideally I'll get a nice underhook, and I like to go either head to shoulder here or shoulder to shoulder. Okay. This elbow is a problem for me. Bryce, I've taught him well apparently. This elbow is a problem for me here, so I don't want this elbow to come in. So once I'm done and in this position, I usually start to bring my knee down here, and I need to start making a collar grip here, or if this elbow is being a pain in my ass, then I'll reach up and get control of that elbow to keep him from getting in this position. if he can get his elbow in between my knee and his ribs, it's gonna be much easier for him to finish the pass. If I try to finish it from here, he's already got a frame to start hip escaping, and getting his guard back, okay? So on my way in, I need to be conscious of that elbow. So I'm just gonna get very generically, I get to my side here, put my hand in his ribs, and now look, I'm kind of using my fingers here to hold his knee up, all right? If I'm not controlling this knee, he can hip escape much more effectively than if I'm holding his leg up. So now if he tries to hip escape here, it's much more difficult, and I can almost follow him, right? The extension of the hip is a problem, the back is a problem. We'll get into that later, okay? So now, again, what I'm looking for here is an underhook, all right? Bryson is doing a good job kind of keeping a frame here. I'll go into that later. But right now, I just want this under. Bryson's just doing everything right today. And now I want to get my shoulder on his shoulder or my head on his shoulder here, okay? If this elbow is here, then I can reach, I lift up, and finish my pass, okay? Other times too, you can start to reach into the collar or lock up your hands right behind his head and then slide in the out to finish your knee slice pass, okay? So it's kind of dependent on what you feel more comfortable, or how you feel more comfortable finishing. When I get here, first thing I'm looking for is to get this underhook. Once I get this underhook, I want to drive my shoulder into his shoulder, or even my head in his shoulder, to keep his shoulder on the ground here. I don't want him coming in front with the frame, and I don't want him repummeling to get this underhook here. That'll be a big problem, okay? So I need to come in here, right? Now, assuming I've done everything correct, the last part is just finishing this pass here. So oftentimes your partner will wrap up this quarter guard. He's gonna wrap up my legs here. I'm gonna get stuck, okay? This is where all of the security aspect of this position is very good to come in handy. So I wanna make sure that I'm coming up here, okay? Now, most people will try to get their knee through in this direction, okay? You can do that by simply kicking that bottom leg and extending here, okay? The other thing that you can consider is once he wraps up that guard is not continuing to pull out. Now you drive the knee out in this direction, okay? So instead of trying to continue along this trajectory, what I'm essentially doing is turning my knee out here. And that allows me to slide that leg, okay? So, once I get here, I start to drive my knee in. And now what I'm looking for is to get this underhook here, okay? So notice my weight now starts to go in this direction, right? Drive my weight here, and I want to hug his elbow up or start making my way, going cross face and doing a little bit of shoulder pressure on his chin. The only issue I have with the shoulder pressure is that I'm not controlling his elbow here. So even if I do manage to pass, I'm going to be giving him a frame. So usually when I finish the knee slice, I like to get underneath his triceps. So that way I can keep him from getting this elbow back on the ground to escape. Okay. Now to finish, you can start to kick that bottom leg out, or start sliding your knee in that direction instead of continuing to try to pull it in this direction here. Okay, so that's just kind of a basic knee slice pass, how I teach it in more of a beginner setting. Next up, we're going to kind of troubleshoot some of the biggest issues that people have with the knee slice pass, so that way you can make sure that you're finishing a lot more with a higher percentage.